Yes, teacher Ambrose from Riverflow International. Today I'm here to scale up the videos of the end of math challenge. We received some videos from the teachers whereby teachers did videos about the displacement method. First and foremost, I want to thank you all who participated. We are going to look at the steps we are supposed to follow up when we are doing the videos, mostly when we are doing what we call the displacement method. There are some things we should consider. When we are doing the displacement method, we have used different methods. So when you look at this video, for example, of Kalisa Robert, when I was looking at it, when they started the activity, these learners didn't have the clear instructions on what to do. You see some of them are having the beaker. It's the beaker that they are using to measure the volume of irregular object. Then others have gotten the beaker, they have poured water into the overflow can, which is okay, and that's why actually the beaker is provided to you. But the water or the overflow can, when the water was poured into the overflow can, it was not allowed to reach the spout, and they give the opportunity, or they give the water to flow fast. Then when it stops, then they lower the irregular object. In other words, the answer these people or these learners are going to get is not correct because the water did not flow. So they lowered the irregular object, but the water could not flow immediately as they started lowering the irregular object because the water was not at the spout. The water was not at the spout level. So normally when we are helping learners, make sure you give them clear instruction and tell them that you pour water into the overflow can, then you allow water to flow. Then when it stops flowing, now you lower the irregular object, then water will immediately start flowing. When they moved into the using the measuring cylinder, here where they are using the measuring cylinder, when you look at them, yes, when you are lowering the irregular object into the measuring cylinder, there it was okay. But when it came to the reading, the teacher lifted the measuring cylinder and learners were reading the readings or the meniscus when the teacher was lifting the measuring cylinder. In other words, they are not reading the actual, because the measuring cylinder should be put on a flat surface so that learners are able to read the lower meniscus. So what the learners were reading, it was not the lower meniscus. And afterwards, now the teacher told them what they should read as the lower meniscus instead of them reading the lower meniscus. So I've witnessed that. Please put the measuring cylinder on a flat surface and allow learners to read then from lower meniscus, or when the measuring cylinder is placed on a flat surface. When you look at here when learners are reading the measurement, they are reading from the measuring cylinder, but instead the teacher is holding it. Obviously, if you hold it, then learners cannot read the lower meniscus. This measuring cylinder should be placed on a flat surface. Then you give learners opportunity to read from a flat surface, and you tell them, as I have told them, to read the lower meniscus. But when you lift it, obviously, when you lift it, you find that the level of water will not be at the same level, so you will keep tilting it. That's why we say put it on a flat surface. Now, when you look at where these learners are, some of them were sleeping on the ground trying to read. There, when you sleep and try to read, you cannot get the clear or the real measurement of the irregular object. Then maybe lastly, when I'm ending this, learners, that is where they reached, because of no clear instruction, learners started viewing or reading the readings from the beaker. Some of them were sleeping on the ground, reading from the beaker instead of them reading from the measuring cylinder. So what do I mean by clear instruction? Show learners what they are going to use in the displacement and where they should be reading from. I wanted to show you here where the learners were reading from the beaker. You see they were on ground reading from the beaker instead of them reading from the measuring cylinder. Those are some of the observations I saw from the video of teacher Kalisa Robert, or what we can call video 1. Yes, I want to talk about the video of Muhangi Joshua. When you look at the video of Muhangi Joshua, I actually want to appreciate Muhangi Joshua for the giving clear instructions to the learners. The learners were given clear instructions. And what I liked most was like, whatever the teacher was doing, it's what the learners were doing. And probably the learners were in a group. Why do we advocate for the groups? It's because most learners learn better from others. So first and foremost, the teacher had all the three instruments or three items we are using in finding the volume of irregular object. That is the measuring cylinder, then the overflow can that we mostly use, then also the beaker for transferring water from the bucket into the measuring cylinder or overflow can. And the teacher gave the names of those instruments, of those items, of those apparatuses very well. That's why I say there were clear instructions. Then learners in the group, most of them were learning from the other. And besides, each learner was learning from the teacher. Whatever teacher was doing is what a learner could do. Whatever teacher was doing is what a learner could do. There is people that, because the overflow can is shorter than the measuring cylinder, most people use the beaker. That they get water from the overflow can to the beaker, then they transfer the water into the measuring cylinder, which is okay. But what we are forgetting is that when we are transferring water, some of the droplets of water remain in the beaker, which means that when the droplets of water have made into the beaker, when you transfer the water into the measuring cylinder, the answer you are getting is not correct because some of the droplets remained in the beaker. I would therefore want that when you are using the overflow can, make sure you press the measuring cylinder under the overflow can. You can have like a table and a chair, whereby the measuring cylinder is on chair, then the overflow can is on table. So that the collected water directly flows into the measuring cylinder. There, when the answer you are getting is right and is correct, because you are getting the measurement, or you are getting the water displaced directly to the measuring cylinder, and you're not leaving any drop into the beaker. That's why I loved the video of Muhangi Joshua. The video of, when you look at the video of Muhangi Joshua, where the learners are the ones tying the irregular object, immersing the irregular object into the overflow can, really you see that the video is engaging, the lesson is engaging, it's a learner-centered, and really they are the learners involved in the lesson. Only the teacher is there to guide the learners, and actually what the teacher is doing, it's what the learners are doing. So Muhangi, I really loved your lesson, I really loved your video, and I loved the way that, or the fact that they are the learners that are involved in the lesson. I want to end with the video of teacher James. So I want to end with the video of teacher James. Teacher James, thank you so much for the nice video. I have seen a very good video. I don't know. The learners looked active in class and they were listening to the teacher. I loved the video. Thank you so much. But I want to say that the instructions were not very clear. The instructions were not very clear. And the lesson was not more of learner-centered. They are not the learners involved in the lesson. It was more of observation, and this lesson looks real when they are the learners involved in the lesson. And besides, These learners were very few, and normally when these instructional materials are packed, we packed mostly in groups of 5. So if these learners were grouped in groups of 5 or groups of 2, 3, then you give them, each group is having an item or instructional material. Then for you, you come to instruct or to guide them. I'm sure learners would perform better. Yes, they know, but I don't know whether you selected a child that was trained on how to do it, because when I see only one child doing it, then I wanted to see others, how others can do it. Therefore, I hope that if maybe all learners were given opportunity, all of the learners were given a chance, because the learners were only given a chance to come and observe the readings, whereby they are not given a chance to carry out the activity, like what Mhanji did. For Mhanji, he grouped the learners, and each group was involved in the activity. But here, only one child was involved in the activity. Then afterwards, they called the learners to come and see what this one learner has gotten. That's why I say that at least learners would be involved. Therefore, the lesson was not more of the learner-centered. If we want to make the lesson more of learner-centered, let us have the group and we distribute the materials to each group. Then let learners follow the instructions of what you are doing. You had the experiment on chalkboard. Learners were following it, but only one child was given the opportunity. That's what I can say about the videos I have looked at. So according to the videos, after watching the videos, I'm going to congratulate Mhanji Joshua. Mhanji Joshua, thank you so much. I loved your video. To be the winner of the end of the month challenge, because the video was so engaging, the learners were involved in the lesson, and the instructions were very, very clear. Then the second winner, I will congratulate Kalisa Robert. Kalisa Robert, your lesson, the instructions were not so much clear, but the learners were involved in the lesson. So they are the learners that were so much involved in the lesson. I like the learner-centered lesson, whereby the learners are the ones doing it. The learners were so much involved, and they involved in the lesson, or they acted in the activity. So Kalisa Robert to be the second winner. Then James, today I'm going to give you the third position. Reason being, I always saw one child being involved in the lesson. If it was a group and all learners are involved, really, I would really prefer your lesson. So I congratulate Joshua, then Kalisa Robert, then James as number 3. Yes, in case you are so interested to win our next challenge, our next end of month challenge with Riverflow International, just get ready. We are going to put out another challenge for the next month, which is August. Please be a winner, and obviously when you win, us as Riverflow, we give you a prize immediately. So if you are interested to be our next challenge or our next winner, please get ready, and when we put out the challenge, you also participate and you win. Thank you so much for following us, for loving Riverflow International.